Kale stands tall again, ignoring their fear. His gaze turns skyward through the tavern's open rafters. For the faintest moment, he senses it again, the divine shimmer, the unseen eyes, watching, judging, mocking. "They know I'm back," he murmurs. The crowd mistakes his words as madness, but Kale isn't speaking to them. He is speaking to the heavens themselves. A drunk stammers, pointing with trembling fingers. He's no man. He's a demon sent to curse us." Whispers ripple. "Demon. Monster but heretic." Kale smirks bitterly. "Demon. That was what the gods called him too, before they buried him." "Pathetic," he says aloud. "You cling to false idols, you worship cowards in the sky, and you call yourselves heroes. Pathetic." His voice shakes the beams of the tavern. The adventurers recoil, terrified. Some draw blades, but none dare move closer. Garen, broken but not dead, wheezes through blood. "The gods will punish you." Kale's eyes burn brighter. He crouches low, inches from Garen's face. "Let them try." Outside, the night grows unnaturally cold. Clouds twist, blotting the moon. The mercenaries who witnessed Kale's awakening whisper in the streets, spreading the tale. The demon who crushed a beast with one fist. The stranger who humbled an S-rank hero without lifting a weapon. Fear spreads faster than fire. And far above, beyond mortal vision, the divine council stirs. One voice hisses with disdain. "He dares mock our chosen. He must be struck down." Another, calmer but sharper. "No! Let him walk. Let mortals see him. His arrogance will bring his ruin, but not all gods agree." A silence lingers before a deeper voice rumbles like distant thunder. "If he rises unchecked, everything we built will crumble." Back in the tavern, Kale walks through the terrified crowd, his silhouette cutting through the smoke and torchlight. His presence crushes every whisper, every breath. He stops at the doorway, glancing back only once. His smirk is cruel, but his words are quiet, almost amused. "If these are your champions, then I'll rule your world by dawn." The door slams behind him. The tavern remains frozen in silence. Garen broken on the floor, the crowd trembling. Outside, thunder growls across the heavens. And somewhere unseen, a divine voice whispers with venom. The buried sinner walks again. Whispers of the buried one. The next morning, the town is unrecognizable. Shutters slam closed at the mere echo of Kale's footsteps. Mothers yank children inside. Merchants whisper hurried prayers before daring to open their stalls. Fear lingers in the air, heavy as smoke after a fire. Last night one man broke an S-rank hero without drawing a blade. One man silenced an entire guild. "That rumor now spreads like a plague. Did you hear?" He crushed Garen with a flick of his hand. "They say he crawled from the earth itself, undead, cursed." "No, I heard he was the sinner of prophecy, the one the gods buried a century ago." Every tavern, every alley, every church bell echoes the same word. Buried. Kyle stands at the edge of town, watching farmers drive weak, sickly oxen across barren fields. Monsters stalk the woods freely, their howls unchallenged. The walls are crumbling, unguarded. "This is what became of humanity," he mutters. His voice is filled with contempt, but beneath it lies something else, a sting of disappointment. Once men and women trained until their bodies broke, only to rise stronger. Warriors bled to protect their kin. Now, they cower. They accept weakness as life. Kale clenches his fist. 100 years wasted. Back in the capital, alarm bells ring. Not for the people, but for the throne. Inside a grand cathedral, a high priest slams his staff against the marble floor. His voice shakes as he addresses kneeling acolytes. The text spoke true. "The sinner has returned." Gasps ripple through the chamber. Candles flicker wildly, as if even fire recoils from the words. "The buried one will not be allowed to rise," the priest continues. "The gods demand his capture. He must be shackled before mortals begin to follow him." Clerics nod, but fear gleams in their eyes. To hunt a man who humiliated an S-rank hero? Madness. Still, orders are orders. Soldiers are dispatched. Ordinary men, draped in holy symbols, clutching blessed steel they barely know how to use. By dusk, Kale hears their approach, the crunch of boots on gravel, the faint rattling of armor, and the trembling rhythm of hearts that do not belong to warriors. He doesn't even bother to stand when they surround him in the clearing. By decree of the gods, One soldier shouts, voice cracking, "You are under arrest! Kneel before divine judgment." Kale looks at them, unamused. A dozen soldiers, none strong enough to match even a trainee from his era. "You worship cowards?" he says flatly. "Blasphemy?" the soldier cries, though his hands shake around his spear. Kale rises to his feet at last. The ground itself seems to bend beneath his presence. "Do you even know who I am?" They charge anyway, spurred by fear and holy rhetoric. Spears thrust forward, steel glinting. Kyle doesn't move. His aura erupts instead. A wave of invisible force slams outward. Spears snap like twigs. Men are thrown back, screaming, bones breaking as they collide with trees. One soldier, young, barely grown, remains standing, though his knees shake violently. He points his sword at Kale, voice trembling. You can't kill us all." The gods are watching. Kale steps forward. His shadow engulfs the boy. His voice is a low growl. "Then let them watch." He sweeps his arm. The forest explodes with force, scattering the soldiers like leaves in a storm. When the dust clears, the clearing is silent. Broken weapons litter the ground. Groaning men crawl away in terror, but Kale spares one. The boy lies bloodied, wide-eyed. Kyle crouches beside him. "Run back to your masters," Kale whispers. "Tell them this, their prison failed, their chains broke. I walk this world again." The boy nods frantically, scrambling to his feet. He flees into the night, clutching his wounds, desperate to carry the message. Above the clouds, far from mortal sight, the divine council stirs. Thrones carved of starlight circle one another, and figures of blinding brilliance lean forward. He defies us openly. He slaughters our faithful. Shall we strike him down now? A silence falls. Then a deeper voice answers. "No, let his shadow grow first. Let mortals see what he is. Then we will bury him again, when the world despises him most." The gods nod, their voices blending like thunder across the heavens. But one figure, cloaked in darker flame, whispers something else. Or perhaps, "He will surpass us, as he once swore he would." Back on Earth, Kyle stares at the stars, chest rising and falling slowly. He knows their gaze lingers. He feels their fury. Their fear. "Still watching me, are you?" he mutters. His smirk is cruel. "Good, watch closely. Watch as I take back everything." The wind howls through the broken forest, carrying his words like a curse. Behind him, villagers whisper of the battle they witnessed. The soldiers. They didn't stand a chance. He walked through them like they were nothing. It's him. It must be him. The buried one. Fear grows. But alongside fear, something else begins to take root. A dangerous thought. What if the gods can be defied? The chapter closes with the image of Kale standing atop the shattered battlefield, cloak-torn, hair whipping in the wind, as unseen eyes glow in the heavens above. And somewhere in the distance, a cloaked shadow watches him silently. Not soldier. Not priest. Something else, the watcher whispers under their breath. So, it truly begins. The first pursuer. The sky splits open. At first it's only a shimmer, a faint glow above the clouds, but then it spreads, a burning crack across the heavens. Mortals fall to their knees in the streets, whispering prayers. Children cry as the air thickens with heat. Cal doesn't kneel. He never has. He looks up, squinting against the unnatural light. His lips curl. So the cowards send their hound. From the rift descends a figure of fire and steel. Wings of golden flame stretch wide, each feather dripping sparks that scorch the earth as they fall. His armor glitters, carved with runes older than nations. In his hand burns a blade of living fire, its heat warping the very air. The angelic emissary lands with the weight of a falling star. Cobblestones crack beneath his feet. The ground trembles. Mortals nearby bow, foreheads pressed to the dirt. "Praise the gods! They sent us salvation." The emissary raises his flaming sword, his voice ringing like a cathedral bell. "Kill, sinner, buried one. You were warned never to rise. For your defiance, your punishment shall be renewed, eternal this time." Kale's grin is cruel. He steps forward, aura bleeding into the air like smoke. "Do you even know who I am?" The angel's eyes narrow. "You are nothing." The battle begins in a single flash. The angel swings his blade, a sweep of fire that cuts the night sky in half. The flames consume everything in their path, turning stone to molten slag. But when the smoke clears, Kale is still standing, one hand raised casually. He has caught the flaming blade in his palm. Flesh sizzles. The smell of burning skin fills the air. Yet Kale's eyes burn hotter than the fire itself. "Nothing?" he growls. His grip tightens. Cracks spread through the divine weapon. "Then what does that make you, when I break you with these hands?" The blade shatters. Sparks scatter like dying stars. The angel recoils in shock, stumbling back. Mortals gasp, unable to believe what they see. Kale advances, each step a drumbeat of defiance. His fists glow with the force of his aura, raw power leaking into the world. "You were forged by their will," he snarls. "But I was forged in their hatred, buried, chained. And now, unleashed," he drives his fist into the angel's chest. Armor forged from divine light cracks like brittle glass. The emissary is thrown across the square, smashing through the wall of a temple, rubble raining down in clouds of dust. The angel drags himself up, coughing blood, disbelief staining his perfect features. Impossible. No mortal can touch a divine vessel. Kale tilts his head, eyes gleaming. "I told you. I am not like your mortals." With a roar, the angel flares his wings, unleashing a storm of fire. Each feather burns like a comet, raining down destruction. Villagers scream, scattering. Buildings ignite. Shadows dancing in the inferno. Kale walks straight through it. Flames lick his skin, but he does not falter. His aura smothers the fire like an ocean drowning sparks. "You think fire can stop me? I was buried in storms of lightning for a century. I endured worse while chained in the dark." He lunges forward. His hand clamps around the angel's throat. The flames sputter, strangled. The angel claws at him, wings thrashing violently, but Kale doesn't let go. He slams the emissary into the earth, the ground cracking under the impact. Mortals cry out in terror and awe. To them it looks like a man wrestling a god, and winning. The angel coughs, spitting blood. His voice trembles, shattering the illusion of divine perfection.
"The gods
will come for you. You cannot escape them." Kale leans closer, his amber eyes burning into the emissary's soul. "Let them. I'll break them the same way I break you." He drives his fist into the angel's chest again. The divine vessel convulses, light sputtering from his wounds like dying embers. The emissary collapses, broken, his flaming wings guttering out. His last words are a whisper of disbelief. "This cannot be." Kyle releases him, letting the body crumble into ash. The fire dies with it, leaving only silence and scorched earth. The mortals dare not move. Their God-sent savior lies destroyed at the feet of the man they were told to fear. Kale lifts his gaze to the heavens, his voice a roar that echoes through the night. "Send another! Send them all! I am not the one who will kneel." His laughter is low, dangerous, echoing through the ruined square. And in the crowd, half hidden by cloak, a figure watches. Unlike the others, they do not tremble. Their eyes burn with something else. Knowledge, purpose. They whisper under their breath, unheard by all but the wind.
"So the stories were true."
The buried one walks again. Above the clouds the gods seethe. He destroyed a vessel. He cannot be allowed to rise further. Send legions. But the deeper voice rumbles again, silencing the council. "No, watch him. Let him grow bold. The higher he rises, the further he will fall. His pride will be his undoing." Yet somewhere in the shadows of divinity, another voice murmurs, "Or his pride will shatter us all." The chapter closes on Kyle, standing amid the ashes of the emissary, head tilted toward the sky, smirk carved into his face. "Your chains broke, gods, and now nothing you send will bind me again." Lightning rumbles across the heavens as if the gods themselves grit their teeth. The cloaked shadow, the village smolders. Smoke curls into the night sky where fire once raged. Ash drifts down like snow, coating the streets in silence. Kale stands in the ruins of the square, breathing steadily. His knuckles are cracked and bloodied, not from wounds, but from crushing the divine vessel with his bare hands. Mortals scatter into alleyways, too afraid to speak. But one figure approaches. Not running, not cowering, walking, a cloaked silhouette, boots crunching over shattered stone, head bowed as if in reverence or calculation. Kale narrows his eyes. Another lamb sent to slaughter? The figure stops a few paces away, lowering their hood. A woman's face is revealed. Sharp cheekbones, a thin scar cutting down from her brow to her jaw, eyes the color of cold steel. She doesn't flinch under Kale's gaze. So, she says calmly, the stories were true. The buried one walks again. Kale's hand twitches toward his blade, though he doesn't draw it. His voice is low, warning. You know that name. I know more than the name, she replies. I know the truth. I am Selene, last of the Order of Ash. We kept your memory alive while the world tried to erase it. Kale scoffs. The world hasn't forgotten me. They piss themselves at the mention of me. Selene shakes her head. No, they fear the myth the gods created. They call you demon, sinner, heretic. They twisted you into a cautionary tale. Her eyes sharpen. But there are still those who wait for you. Hidden sects, broken tribes, remnants of warriors who believe the gods lied. They need a leader. Cal turns his back, disgust heavy in his tone. Weaklings begging for a savior? Pathetic. I lead no cowards. Selene's jaw tightens, but she doesn't yield. Weak because they were hunted. Weak because they bled for your name when you were gone. My order was slaughtered one by one. I survived because I believed you'd return. Kale pauses mid-step. Her voice carries conviction. And conviction, at least, he respects. But before he can answer, the ground trembles. The corpses left from the battle begin to twitch. At first, only fingers spasm. Then limbs twist at impossible angles. A soldier's body jerks upright, eyes glowing with unholy light. Another follows, then another. Kale and Selene both turn as a dozen broken men rise, their wounds gaping, their mouths muttering prayers in voices that are not their own. Divine corruption pours through them. The gods are not done. They twist their faithful into puppets, flesh as vessels. Selene's blade flashes from her sheath. They won't stop until you're buried again. Kale smirks, cracking his knuckles. Good, let them try. The abominations lurch forward, movements jerky, bones snapping as divine energy forces them onward. Their flesh burns from within, veins glowing like molten cracks in stone. Selene darts first, blade slicing clean through one neck. Ash erupts instead of blood. She spins, slashing again, but three more close in. Kale meets the horde head-on. One lunges, jaws distending unnaturally wide. Kale seizes its skull and crushes it with a single squeeze. Ash bursts across his arm. Another charges with inhuman speed. Kale stomps the earth, sending a shockwave that splits the ground, swallowing the corpse whole. Selene glances at him, eyes narrowing. His strength is terrifying even to her. But her blade dances anyway, severing limbs, carving through corrupted flesh with precision. Still, the horde grows bolder. The gods pour more power into the corpses, their forms warping grotesquely. Elongated arms, claws of light, faces twisted into mockeries of angels. Selene pants, her blade shaking. They're endless, Kale interrupts with a laugh. Then I'll break them endlessly. He plunges into the swarm, fists tearing, bones shattering. Each strike sends shockwaves that scatter bodies like ragdolls. The last of the abominations lunges for Selene. She falters for half a heartbeat, her strength waning. But before its claws can touch her, Kale's hand spears through its chest from behind. The corpse crumbles into ash around them, dissolving in the wind. Kale wipes the dust from his arm, smirking. Pathetic. Selene steadies herself, chest heaving. They won't stop. You humiliated their emissary. Now they'll send worse? Kale's grin sharpens. Good, let them. I've waited a century for this fight. Silence falls over the battlefield. The ash drifts away, carried by the night breeze. Selene sheathes her sword slowly. Her gaze lingers on Kale, calculating. You're more dangerous than even the text said. Kale raises a brow. And yet you still stand beside me. Her lips curl faintly. Because if you truly mean to challenge the gods, then I will follow. The world has grown weak. But maybe with you, it can be reforged. Kale studies her for a long moment. Then he laughs, low and humorless. Careful, woman. Following me has only ever led to graves. Selene doesn't flinch. Then I'll carve my name into one, if it means spitting in the gods' faces. For the first time since his awakening, Kale's smile softens, only slightly. Perhaps, he mutters. You're not as pathetic as the rest, but far above. The gods watch the exchange with mounting fury. He allies with mortals now. Heretics who worship him still exist. They must be erased. If he gathers followers, our grip on the world weakens. The deeper voice silences them with a single command. Send another, stronger this time. Do not let him rise unchecked. Lightning forks across the divine realm. A storm brewing. Back on Earth, Kale glances toward the heavens. Sensing the gathering storm, his smirk returns. Let them come. Selene tightens her grip on her sword. She feels the same storm, but unlike Kale, her body trembles with the weight of what's to come, and still, she stays at his side. The chapter ends on the image of the two standing amidst a field of ash, shadows stretching long under the moonlight, watched by unseen eyes burning with divine wrath. The prophecy of heretics. The night is quiet now, too quiet. The air still hums with divine residue from the emissary's fall, but the battlefield is nothing but ash and broken stone. Selene crouches in the ruins of a temple, tracing her fingers over carvings half buried in rubble. Her lips move in whispers, repeating words older than her order itself. Kale leans against a shattered pillar, arms crossed, eyes fixed on her. You mutter like a priest. Careful, I might kill you by mistake. Selene smirks faintly without looking up. Not prayers, records, my order preserved fragments of a prophecy. One the gods tried to erase. Kale's brow furrows. Prophecy? Selene brushes dirt from the stone, revealing jagged etchings of chained figures and a rising flame. Her voice takes on a weight, as though she's reciting words etched into her very bones. When the world is hollowed by weakness, when gods grow fat on worship, the buried one shall awaken. His chains shall break and his wrath shall rend the sky. He will tear the thrones from the heavens, and the age of divinity will drown in ash. She exhales, as though the words themselves carry a curse. Kale's laugh cuts the silence, low and sharp. They feared me so much they wrote poems about it. Touching. Selene's eyes burn with conviction. They feared you because it was true, and now you're here, which means the rest will follow. Kale pushes off the pillar, approaching slowly. His gaze fixes on her with unnerving intensity. And you believe this prophecy makes me your savior? Selene's jaw tightens. Not savior, weapon, the only one strong enough to topple them. We trained in the shadows for generations, waiting for you. Many of us died for this hope. Kale circles her, voice dripping with disdain. Hope is for the weak. Did your martyrs rise from their graves after their hope burned out? Selene doesn't flinch. No, but they believed in you, even in death. That faith is the only reason I'm alive to stand here. For a long moment, the only sound is the crackle of embers still smoldering in the ruins. Kale stops in front of her, looming. Faith will not save you from me. If you walk beside me, it will be because you are useful. The moment you falter, you're ash. Selene meets his gaze without fear. Then I'll make sure I burn brighter than the rest. The conversation is cut short by a shriek. Not human. Not divine. Something between, both turn sharply. At the edge of the ruined square, figures crawl from the shadows, hooded, gaunt, their bodies marked with glowing sigils that pulse like diseased hearts. Their eyes gleam with fanatic light. Selene's voice hardens. Heretic hunters. Kel raises a brow. Mortals? Mortals twisted by divine blessing, Selene spits. The gods send them to purge anyone tied to your name. They kill without mercy. They killed my order. The hunters advance in eerie unison, whispering verses in a tongue older than man. Their blades drip with divine venom, hissing as it touches the ground. One steps forward, lowering his hood. His face is half burned, half glowing with divine fire. He grins, teeth jagged. The sinner rises, and so he shall fall. Kale smirks, cracking his knuckles. At least they announce themselves before dying. The hunters move as one, blindingly fast. Blades flash, sigils flare. Selene meets the first strike, steel clashing against glowing venom. Sparks explode, hissing against her face. She grits her teeth, shoving back. Another lunges for her flank, only to be caught mid-air by Kale's hand. With a casual squeeze, the hunter's ribs collapse like dry twigs. He tosses the corpse aside, eyes gleaming. More swarm. Their movements are disciplined, coordinated. They're no mindless husks like the abominations before. They fight with purpose, blades aiming for tendons, joints, vitals. Selene is fast, but not fast enough for all of them. A blade slices her shoulder. She gasps, blood spraying. Divine venom sizzles as it touches her skin. The hunter sneers. Heretics burn. Before the venom can spread, Kale's fist obliterates the man's skull, blood and ash bursting like rotten fruit. He turns to Selene, snarling. Weakness gets you killed. Selene steadies herself, pain twisting her face but resolve burning in her eyes. Then I'll bleed until I'm stronger. The fight is brutal. Merciless, Kale tears through them with raw power, each punch shattering bone, each kick splitting the earth. Selene dances through the chaos, her blade carving arcs of steel light, her movements fueled more by desperation than grace. But still, the hunters keep coming. For everyone that falls, another emerges from the shadows, until Kale has had enough. He slams his fists into the ground. The earth splits open in a thunderous roar. Shockwaves ripple outward, tossing hunters into the air like leaves in a storm. Cracks spider web through the ruins, swallowing bodies into the abyss. When the dust settles, silence reigns. Only Kale and Selene remain standing. Selene clutches her bleeding shoulder, panting hard. Her eyes sweep the carnage, then lift to Kale. "Do you see now? The gods will never stop. Not until they've ground you to dust again." Kale wipes blood from his knuckles, smirking. "Let them try. I've only just woken up. My chains are gone. My wrath is endless." Selene studies him for a long moment, then speaks, her voice a whisper. "Then maybe the prophecy is real. Maybe you are the one who'll burn their thrones." Kale laughs, low and dangerous. "Maybe? No, I will. And when I do, you'll see what true ruin looks like." He lifts his gaze to the heavens, where faint tremors of light ripple across the clouds. The gods are watching, listening, preparing. And somewhere deep inside, Kale feels it. The storm gathering, the war promised. The chapter closes with Selene pressing her palm against the cracked prophecy stone, her blood dripping into the grooves of the etchings. The symbols glow faintly as though awakened by Kyle's presence. Her eyes widen. "It's beginning," Kale's smirk deepens. "Good. Let the prophecy begin." The wind howls through the ruins, carrying whispers not of mortals, but of gods. Weak kingdoms tremble. The road winds through fields once fertile, now rotting. Kyle and Selene walk in silence, the ruins of the village fading behind them. The sky above is veiled with gray clouds, heavy with the stench of decay. Villages along the path are little more than husks. Houses boarded, crops dead, people hunched in shadows with hollow eyes. Selene breaks the silence. "This is what the gods' rule has wrought. Kings bow, temples tithe, mortals starve." Kale glances around, his face unreadable. "Pathetic. In my time, men bled and fought to survive. Now they cower in filth. As they crest a hill, the walls of a kingdom come into view. Once proud stone ramparts, now cracked and sagging, banners tattered in the wind. The city within is no better. Streets clogged with beggars, soldiers leaning drunkenly against gates, armor unpolished, swords rusting. Kale sneers. "This is a kingdom. I've seen bandits hold stronger ground." Selene's voice lowers, wary. "This is the crown of the region. If this falls, the others crumble." Inside the city, the stench of fear is thick. Merchants whisper of famine. Soldiers extort peasants for coin. Priests shout hollow sermons in the square, demanding tithes for the gods while children starve at their feet. Kyle watches, disgust twisting his features. A beggar reaches for him, hands trembling. "Mercy? Food?" Kyle stops. The man's bones jut from skin, his eyes sunk in hollows. Kale's lip curls. He pulls the beggar to his feet with one hand, holding him effortlessly. "You beg when you should take?" His voice is a growl. "Once men would kill wolves with bare hands to feed their kin. And you beg," the beggar sobs, unable to answer. Kale drops him like trash. Selene's voice is sharp. "He's not weak by choice. He's weak because the gods drained this kingdom dry." Kale doesn't reply. His silence is heavier than his words. They push deeper into the city until the palace gates rise before them. Guards lounge lazily, one gnawing on a bone, another half asleep against his spear. They stir only when Kale approaches, his aura pressing against them like a storm cloud. "Halt!" one barks nervously. The king holds no audience. Kale's gaze is cold. "Then he'll make one." The guards step forward, trembling blades raised. Kale doesn't bother drawing his weapon. His aura pulses, a wave of pressure that slams them to their knees, weapons clattering. Their faces press into the dirt as if gravity itself has doubled. Selene watches, eyes narrowing. His power is not just strength, it is dominion. The palace doors creak open, and inside the court unfolds, nobles draped in silk while peasants rot outside, goblets spilling wine, laughter echoing through gilded halls. At the head of it all sits the king, fat-jowled, rings crusting his fingers. His crown tilts as he raises his goblet lazily. Another peasant with complaints? Speak quickly before I bore. Kale strides forward, boots echoing against the marble. Every eye in the court turns toward him. His voice is a blade. This is what you call a king? The king squints, confused, before barking laughter. Bold words for a ragged wanderer. Do you know who you address? Kale's grin is cruel. A worm who mistakes his throne for strength. Gasps ripple through the court. Guards rush forward, but Kale doesn't even glance at them. With a flick of his hand, their weapons shatter in their grips, shards scattering like glass. The nobles recoil, whispering in terror. Celine's hand twitches toward her blade, unsure if Kale means to kill them all. The king's face reddens, his voice cracking. You dare mock your sovereign? Guards, seize him! None move. They tremble, pinned by Kale's presence alone. Kale ascends the dais, standing eye level with the bloated king. His shadow swallows the throne. You rule over ash and hunger. You kneel to gods who bleed you dry. Your soldiers are drunk, your people broken, and yet you drink. The king sputters, sweat rolling down his fat neck. Oh, who are you to judge me? Kale leans close, his whisper colder than steel. I am the one who buried kingdoms greater than yours. The king's goblet slips from his hand, wine spilling across the marble like blood. Selene steps forward, voice low but urgent. Kale, killing him will unite the others against you. They'll see only a tyrant. Kale pauses, gaze still locked on the trembling king. For a heartbeat, the room holds its breath. Then Kale turns away, descending the dais. His voice thunders through the hall. Keep your crown, worm. It means nothing when gods come to collect your soul. He leaves the court in silence, nobles frozen, the king slumped in terror. Outside, Selene walks beside him, exhaling sharply. You could have ended him. Kale's smirk is bitter. And replace one weakling with another? No, let him rot. His kingdom will collapse without my hand. Selene eyes him carefully. Or it will rally behind you. Kale doesn't answer. His eyes lift toward the horizon, where thunder rolls. The gods are watching. The kingdoms tremble, and the storm of his return is only beginning. The chapter ends with the king in his throne room, clutching his chest in fear. Behind him, the golden statue of a god flickers with faint light. A whisper crawls through the chamber, not of mortals, of gods. Watch him. Every step he takes brings the prophecy closer. The king falls to his knees, trembling before the statue, and far above, the gods laugh. Challenge of the fallen knight. The palace whispers linger long after Kyle's departure. Nobles huddle in terror, and the king gulps wine to bury his fear. But somewhere beyond the city walls, another figure stirs, summoned not by mortal cries, but by the gods themselves. A knight, once sworn to Kale. Night falls. Kale and Selene walk the barren streets, shadows stretching long under torchlight. The people avoid their eyes, too broken to hope, too frightened to move. Selene breaks the silence. The way you spoke to the king? They'll see you as either tyrant or savior, Kale smirks. Both are the same in the end. Weaklings need someone to kneel to. Before Selene can answer, a voice cuts through the darkness. Cold. Familiar. You always believed strength alone made you king. Kyle stops dead. Slowly, his gaze turns. From the shadows emerges a knight clad in fractured armor. His once bright tabard is blackened with ash, his blade pitted but sharp. His eyes glow faintly, not with life, but with divine blessing. Kale's voice hardens. Darian, Selene's brow furrows. You know him? Kale's jaw clenches. He was my sword brother, my general. He swore to bury his blade before he bowed to gods. Darian's lips twist into something between a sneer and sorrow. I swore. Until your fall broke us. The gods offered purpose, I took it. And now I bring you to heal. The street empties as villagers scatter. Doors slam shut. Curtains close. Only the sound of armor creaking fills the silence as Darian draws his blade. The weapon hums with divine corruption, light bleeding from every crack. Selene hisses under her breath. He's a vessel. They've remade him. Kyle steps forward, voice like thunder. They remade you into a dog. I buried my faith in brothers like you a century ago. Darian raises his blade in salute, the motion still disciplined, still knightly. Then you'll bury me again. The clash is instant. Steel screams as Darian's blade crashes down, sparks exploding as Kale meets it with his bare forearm. The cobblestones beneath their feet shatter from the impact. Kale snarls, shoving back, but Darien doesn't falter. He moves with relentless precision, each strike flowing into the next, a storm of practiced violence. Celine leaps aside, the shockwaves knocking her back. She can barely follow their movements, each clash ringing like thunder. Pathetic. Darien growls mid-swing. No, the world moved on without you. It grew strong under their light. Kale's eyes blaze. He catches Darien's blade in both hands, veins bulging, the divine fire searing his skin. Strong? You call this strength? Weak kings. Hollow priests. Corpses puppeted by gods. If this is strength, I'll grind it to dust. With a roar, Kale wrenches the blade aside and slams his fist into Darien's chest. Armor dents inward, blood spraying. Darien staggers but doesn't fall. Instead, divine light flares from his wounds, knitting them closed. Celine gasps. The gods heal him. Darien spits blood, lips curling. Yet you can't kill me. I am their will made flesh. Kale laughs. Low, bitter, chilling. Then I'll break you until their will runs dry. He charges again, fists blurring. Each punch cracks bone, dense armor, shakes the very street. Darien blocks, parries, counters, his divine blade cutting arcs of fire through the night. But for every strike Darien lands, Kale takes 3 more and keeps coming. Blood runs down Kale's arm, smoke rising from burns. Still he grins, eyes wild. You hit harder than the god's angel, but not hard enough. Darien's breathing grows ragged. His once fluid strikes falter, each step heavier than the last. Kale seizes the opening. He smashes his head into Darien's helm, the metal crumpling inward with a sickening crunch. Darien staggers, blood pouring from his nose, but his blade still swings desperately. Kale catches it bare-handed, divine fire burning through his palm. He rips the weapon free and snaps it across his knee. The light sputters out. Darien collapses to one knee, chest heaving. His eyes dimming meet Kale's. You were always destined to bring ruin. Kale looms above him, aura spilling like a storm. His fist draws back. Celine calls out, voice sharp with urgency. Kale, if you kill him, the gods will send worse. They want you to lose control. Kale freezes. His fist trembles, hovering inches from Darien's skull. His breathing is heavy, ragged, fury burning behind his teeth. Slowly he lowers his hand. Darien's lips twitch into a broken smile. Mercy? That's not like you. Kale's eyes narrow. Not mercy, pity. You were once a warrior. Now you're nothing. He turns his back, leaving Darien kneeling in the dirt. As they walk away, Celine studies him. Why spare him? Kale's smirk is cold. I don't kill dogs when their masters are listening. I kill the masters. Behind them, Darien falls forward, coughing blood. The divine light flickers in his veins, weak but not gone. His whisper drifts into the night. I will face you again. Above the clouds, the gods rage. He defies us again. He spares our vessel, mockery. Unleash the scourge. But the deeper voice silences them, calm, dangerous. No, let the night live. His broken loyalty will wound Kale deeper than death, and when he rises again, it will be with our chains tighter around his soul. The chapter closes on Kale and Selene vanishing into the darkness, storm clouds swirling above the city, lightning flashes illuminating Darien kneeling in the dirt, his broken armor glowing faintly with divine fire. The gods whisper into his ear, Rise again, night, be our blade against the sinner. And Darien's eyes flare once more. The whispering cult. The road beyond the kingdom is long and barren. Wind howls across dead fields carrying dust and whispers. Kale and Selene travel in silence, but Kale feels it. The weight of eyes that linger too long, the rustle of feet that vanish when he turns. Someone's following, he mutters. Selene's hand drifts toward her blade. Not the god's hunters. Too quiet. The silence breaks when a torch flares in the distance. Another. Then a dozen. Figures step from the darkness, cloaked and hooded, encircling them in a ring of firelight. Kale bares his teeth. Another ambush? But instead of blades, the cloaked figures fall to their knees. Buried one. They whisper in unison, voices trembling with reverence. He walks again. Selene stiffens, her voice sharp. Cultists. Kale raises a brow. Cultists?
The whispering cult, Selene explains, eyes scanning the crowd.
Heretics who refuse the god's truth. They were hunted, exterminated. Yet some survived. One cultist lifts his hood. A gaunt woman, her cheeks sunken, eyes alight with fanatic fire. We waited. 100 years we whispered your name in shadows. We knew the gods could not silence you forever. Another older man steps forward, clutching a cracked relic, a fragment of stone etched with Kale's likeness. He bows so low his forehead scrapes the dirt. Command us, O Unbroken One, we will kill, burn, bleed. All for you. Kale studies them, expression unreadable. Then he laughs. Dark, humorless. You hid like rats, and now you crawl into the light because you smell blood. The cultists tremble, but none rise. One whispers shakily, "Even rats will bite when their god returns." Celine steps forward, her tone warning. "Be careful. Fanatics are useful but dangerous. Their faith burns hotter than reason." Cal smirks. "Good. Reason never toppled gods." The woman dares to raise her head. "Let us show you. Let us prove our worth." With a signal, the cultists scatter. From the shadows, they drag chained figures into the torchlight, priests of the gods, gagged and bound. Their robes are torn, their golden sigils cracked. One cultist thrusts a knife toward Kale, eyes wide with anticipation. "Command us. Their blood is yours." The priests thrash, muffled cries spilling behind gags. Celine's jaw tightens. "Oh, Kale, this is madness. They'll slaughter innocents if you let them loose." Kale takes the knife. He twirls it between his fingers, the blade catching the firelight. The cultists watch, breathless, waiting for a sign. Then Kale drives the blade, not into a priest, but into the dirt at his feet. The cultists gasp. Confusion ripples through them. Kale's voice is thunder. "If you kill for me, you kill because you are strong, not because I tell you. If you need my command, you are still slaves." The words strike like whips. Some flinch, others bow even lower. But one bolder than the rest dares to rise. His eyes burn with wild devotion. "Then let us prove our strength." He rips the knife from the dirt and slits a priest's throat. Blood spills across the ground. The cultist turns, eyes manic, shouting, "For the buried one!" The crowd erupts in chants, voices rising like a storm.
"For the buried one!"
"For the buried one!" Selena grips Kale's arm. "You've unleashed something dangerous." Kale watches the frenzy, his smirk sharp. "No, I've unleashed truth. Weaklings who kneel to gods, and zealots who'll kill for me. Both are tools. Tools to break thrones." The cultists drag Kale and Selene deeper into the forest, through hidden tunnels carved into earth. Torches line the walls, illuminating carvings of Kale's visage, sometimes majestic, sometimes monstrous. Whispers echo in every chamber. The underground temple bursts into view. A cavern lit by hundreds of candles, walls painted with scenes of Kale's rebellion, him battling gods, him bound in chains, him rising from the tomb. Children kneel in prayer. Elders chant verses in languages long dead. Celine's voice is hushed, reverent despite herself. They preserved everything. Kale gazes at the murals, memories flickering like wounds reopened. Betrayal, chains, laughter of gods as they buried him. His voice is low, dangerous. "They worship me as a god, but I was forged to kill gods." At the cavern's heart an altar rises. Upon it a book bound in skin rests. The cult leader lifts it high, voice ringing. "The Book of Ash, written by the last high seer before the purge. It tells of your rise, and of the day you will strike the heavens." She opens the tome, chanting words that reverberate through the cavern. The cultists echo her, their chants shaking the walls. But Kale frowns. Something stirs within the words, not prophecy, but a tether. Selene senses it too. "Kale, stop them! Too late!" Divine light bursts from the book. The cultists scream, their bodies convulsing as if the gods themselves claw at their souls. The air splits with thunder. Kyle snarls, aura flaring. They used prophecy as bait. Above the altar, light condenses, forming a monstrous figure of wings and chains. Another emissary, summoned by the cult's blind devotion. The cavern shakes. Candles snuff out. The creature's eyes blaze with holy fire. The cultists, still trembling, whisper even through their terror, "The buried one will save us." Kale's grin is feral as he steps forward, fists clenched. Then watch closely. Salvation wears blood. Trial by chains, the cavern shudders. Candles gutter as the massive winged abomination rises from the altar, chains rattling like the death of mountains. Its wings stretch wide, composed of divine energy and broken steel, and its eyes blaze with pure judgment. Kale steps forward, aura flaring like a storm breaking free. "So, this is your gift to me?" The creature roars, a sound that shakes stone and rattles the hearts of mortals below. The cultists scream in terror, yet their chants continue, high-pitched and unwavering. Selene tightens her grip on her blade, eyes scanning for weaknesses. "It's infused with divine energy, stronger than anything we've seen." Kale smirks, cracking his knuckles. "Then let's see if it bleeds." The first strike is sudden, a clawed hand slicing through the air, tearing stone from the cavern walls. Kale dodges with supernatural speed, the edge grazing his shoulder and burning flesh with holy fire. He shakes it off, voice low, guttural. "Pathetic. A child's toy in my time." Selene moves beside him, blades flashing, cutting at the chains binding the creature. Sparks ignite where her steel strikes divine metal. The creature howls, wings thrashing, sending a shockwave that throws her back. Kale lunges, hand engulfed in aura, slamming into its chest. The impact echoes like a thunderclap, yet the abomination barely flinches. Its chains constrict, rattling violently as if reacting to Kyle's power. "You've been chained too long," Kyle growls. "Time to see what freedom looks like." He strikes again, this time with both fists, crushing stone and metal alike. The abomination bellows in fury, chains screeching as they constrict further, but Kale is relentless, tearing at the very chains as if unraveling the god's will. Selene, recovering, launches herself onto a ledge, striking at the chains with precision. Each blow sparks fire, weakening the divine bonds. Kale glances at her, smirk curling. "Not bad. You might survive this after all." The abomination lashes out, wings slicing through pillars and stone. Kale jumps, landing atop its back, fists hammering at the massive form. Its roar is deafening, but he doesn't falter. "You call this strength? I've crushed mountains stronger than you." The chains shudder violently. Sparks rain like molten stars. The cavern shakes, stalactites plummeting, crushing a row of cultists who screamed in awe and terror. The abomination thrashes, attempting to shake Kale off. Its divine energy surges, burning the air, forcing Selene to leap back. Kale's eyes glow amber. "You'll learn that I am not what you think." A chain snaps. One lynx breaks under Kyle's grip, slicing through stone with the sound of a bell-tolling doom. The creature falters, staggering, wings uneven. Its roar transforms into a shriek of rage and disbelief. Selene sees the opening. "Kale, now." Kale drives both fists into the creature's chest. Divine energy explodes outward, a wave of destruction that flattens pillars and sends the remaining cultists sprawling. The cavern shakes violently, cracks snaking across the walls. The abomination falters. Its chains dangle uselessly, its power faltering. It struggles to rise, but Kale leaps onto its shoulder, fists striking again and again, each blow a hammer to its divine core. "You were chained by gods," Kyle snarls. "And now, you'll learn what a free man can do." The fight escalates. The cavern trembles with every impact. Sparks, smoke, and ash fill the air. Selene cuts through the remaining chains, weakening the abomination further. Its shrieks pierce the darkness, echoing endlessly. One final blow. Kale channels all his fury into a punch that sends the abomination flying into the cavern wall. Stone shatters, dust rises, and for a heartbeat, silence reigns. The creature lies broken, its divine energy sputtering like a dying star. Chains hang uselessly from its body. It glares at Kale with hatred, its voice rasping. "You will pay. For this." Kale tilts his head, smirk sharp. "Chains don't hold me, and neither will you." Selene moves to Kale's side, breathing heavily.
"That was—"
Too close. Kale wipes blood from his knuckles, gaze scanning the fallen abomination. Close? Nothing in this era is even worthy of being close. Pathetic gods, pathetic mortals. And their toys. The cultists, kneeling in awe and terror, begin murmuring chants once more, this time in reverence, not fear. Kale's aura flares as he surveys them. "You worship me," he says, voice low and dangerous. "Then prove it. Stop being rats hiding in shadows. Learn to bleed, to fight, to survive." The cultists bow, whispers echoing, "Buried one." "Teach us." Above, beyond the cavern and clouds, divine eyes burn with fury. "That abomination." One god hisses, "He shattered it with his bare hands." "They cannot contain him," another whispers. "Not now, not ever." A deeper, chilling voice resonates, calm and unstoppable. Let him rise further. Let the world see the terror of freedom. His wrath is only beginning. The chapter ends on Kale standing amidst the ruins of the cavern, chains dangling from the broken abomination. His eyes blaze, his fists crackling with raw power. Selene stands beside him, sword in hand, watching the cultists begin their training under his gaze. Kale tilts his head toward the heavens, voice carrying like thunder. "Send your next toy. I will break it too." The wind howls through the cavern, whispering promises of blood, chaos, and the coming storm. Shadows over the capital. The capital city sprawls beneath a blood-red dusk, its towers crooked, banners torn, and streets littered with the refuse of decay. Merchants shout to empty squares. Soldiers stagger on half-drunken patrols. The crown of this kingdom, a symbol of authority, lies rotting beneath its king's incompetence. Kale and Selene approach from the high road, shadows stretching across broken rooftops. The wind carries the smell of smoke, sweat, and rot. From the distance, the capital seems almost alive, trembling beneath the weight of neglect. Selene breaks the silence. The capital. If this falls, every kingdom will know the gods are losing control. Kyle smirks, amber eyes glinting.
Let them watch.
Pathetic rulers deserve a proper lesson before they're crushed under my hand. In the streets, whispers of the buried one swirl like smoke. Children peek from shattered windows. Soldiers glance nervously at the horizon. Merchants mumble prayers. Few dare raise their voices. They say he returned from the grave, one drunken soldier mutters to another. That he killed a god's emissary? That he walks with fire in his fists? Kale catches the words, voice carrying across the street like rolling thunder. Fire in my fists? I'll give them a storm. He steps into the square, Selene at his side. The citizens freeze. The air thickens with tension as Kale's aura radiates outward, shaking the ground beneath their feet. A noble bursts from the palace gate, robes fluttering, face pale. The buried one. Kale interrupts with a low laugh. I am exactly what you've been warned about. Weaklings bow. I do not. Inside the throne room, the king wrings his hands, sweat soaking his embroidered tunic. Advisors cower in corners, whispering to each other, panic in their eyes. The doors burst open. Kale's boots echo on the marble. His shadow swallows the gilded room. You call yourself king, Kale says, voice sharp as a blade. Yet your people starve. Your soldiers stagger drunk. Your temples rot. Tell me, what purpose do you serve? The king stammers. I am their ruler. Kale steps closer, aura flaring like a storm breaking free. A ruler does not cower. A ruler does not drink while his people bleed. You are a joke, and all of your kind will fall before me. Outside, divine eyes pierce through the clouds. This
Cannot be.
a god hisses, wings folding in anger. He moves freely in mortal lands. The prophecy. Let him rise, another whispers. Let him challenge. The stronger he becomes, the sweeter the downfall. A deeper voice rumbles, chilling even the divine council. Send your champions. Let the weak kneel first, and watch how he shatters them. At the gates, the first champion arrives. A figure clad in blackened armor, horns curling from the helm like molten obsidian. In one hand, a massive sword hums with divine energy, lighting the air with every swing. In the other, a chain lashes, tipped with jagged steel. Selene whispers, voice tight. An elite champion, sent by the gods themselves. Cal tilts his head, eyes gleaming. Good, I was getting bored. The champion steps into the square, raising the sword. The chain lashes like a serpent, flattening carts and splintering cobblestones. His voice booms over the square. No, a buried one. Kneel or die by divine hand. Kale's aura explodes outward, cracking stone and shaking buildings. His fists flare with light and shadow. I kneel to no one. Not gods, not men, not their toys. The clash begins with earth-shattering force. The champion swings the massive sword, creating a shockwave that throws Selene back. Kale leaps, dodging with preternatural speed. His fist collides with the chain, sending sparks scattering like molten rain. You dare! The champion roars, eyes burning with divine light. Kale interrupts, voice low and cruel. I dare to strike what is weak and break what is falsely strong. A single punch sends the champion flying into a fountain, stone and water exploding outward. He struggles to rise, divine energy flaring across his armor, repairing shattered plates with each heartbeat. Celine leaps in, slashing at the chain with her blade, but it thrashes wildly, knocking her into the wall. Kale smirks. You've grown sloppy, even your best is beneath me. The fight escalates. Sparks, stone, and blood fill the square. Buildings tremble. Citizens cower, eyes wide in terror and awe. Kale's fists strike with the force of mountains. The champion's sword cleaves the air, creating blasts of energy that flatten everything in their path. The elite champion lands a hit on Kyle's shoulder. He staggers, but not from pain, from surprise. Kale laughs, amber eyes blazing. Was that all? Pathetic. With a roar, Kale launches himself into the air, fists glowing like molten fire, and smashes into the champion. Armor cracks, divine light sputters. The ground shakes violently, cleaving stone slabs into jagged shards. The chapter ends on the battlefield outside the capital. Kale stands victorious, chest heaving, fists dripping divine energy. The elite champion lies broken, struggling to rise. Citizens gape in awe, whispering the name Buried One. Celine wipes blood from her blade, breathless. They'll send more. The gods won't let this slide. Kale's smirk is feral. Let them. I've only just begun. Above the clouds, the divine council seethes, and a new, darker plan begins to form. The gods counter. The night sky above the capital churns violently. Lightning cracks across black clouds, painting the world below in stark, blinding light. Kale stands atop the broken city walls, fists clenched, aura flaring like a storm unbound. Celine crouches beside him, scanning the horizon. They've noticed. The gods themselves are coming. Kale's eyes glint amber, reflecting the distant flashes. Let them. I've waited a century for this moment. I've fought monsters, gods, and men, and none of them were worthy. Now I'll show them what freedom looks like. The first strike hits without warning. A pillar of divine fire descends from the heavens, incinerating a section of the capital's gate. Soldiers scream, scattering in panic. Smoke rises, acrid and suffocating. Celine cries out, leaping aside. Kale, they're not holding back. Kyle doesn't flinch. He clenches his fists, energy coiling like lightning around his body. I am not afraid of gods. The air cracks. Shadows lengthen unnaturally as multiple figures descend, emissaries of the divine. Monstrous warriors clad in celestial armor, each radiating power that distorts reality around them. Their eyes gleam like burning stars. You dare defy us, mortal? One bellows, voice like rolling thunder. Kale tilts his head, smirk curling. Mortal? No. I am the one who buried kingdoms stronger than yours. I am the one you failed to chain forever. With that, the emissaries advance. Their steps leave burns on the ground. Their blades hum with holy energy. Celine grips her sword tightly. Kale, there are too many. Even you, Kale interrupts with a roar, energy surging. There's never too many. Weakness dies first. Strength remains. The battle erupts like a cataclysm. Kale's fists move faster than the eye can follow, striking emissaries with bone-crushing force. One explodes into shards of divine energy with a single punch. Another swings a spear of light, slicing through stone buildings. Kale catches it barehanded, crushing it into molten slag. Celine darts through the chaos, striking at lesser emissaries, but the numbers are overwhelming. Divine energy lashes at her, forcing her to retreat. She glances at Kyle. He is a whirlwind of destruction, obliterating anything foolish enough to touch him. The capital itself trembles, buildings toppling like dominoes under the sheer force of their clash. Citizens scream, fleeing into alleyways, some freezing in awe at the raw spectacle. One emissary, taller and wider than the rest, steps forward. Wings of pure light unfurl, casting shadows that swallow the street. A sword larger than a man hums, crackling with divine energy. You are an affront to the heavens, it bellows. This ends now! Kale smirks, amber eyes gleaming. I've killed worse than you in my sleep. He launches himself at the winged behemoth, fists slamming into divine steel with deafening impact. Sparks and energy explode outward, creating shockwaves that flatten streets, shatter gates, and throw soldiers aside. Celine gasps. Even the gods' strongest... Kale's laugh cuts through the chaos, low and feral. They never were. The battle escalates further. Each punch from Kale sends shockwaves that disarm, crush, or annihilate. Each strike from the emissaries creates explosions of light, leveling entire blocks. The capital is reduced to ruins as Kale moves like a storm incarnate, unstoppable and merciless. One emissary manages to land a hit on Kale's shoulder, sending him skidding across the shattered cobblestones. Blood drips, but his eyes blaze with fury. He rises, aura surging, voice thunderous. "You dare strike me? I've waited 100 years for this. Do you think a single wound can stop me?" He smashes his fists into the ground. The shockwave flattens the immediate area, breaking through divine armor, sending the emissary flying. Silani, watching from the side, whispers, "He's unstoppable." But even he has limits. Kale glances at her, smirk sharp. "Limits? I've broken gods before you were even born. Let them try." From above, divine lightning forks across the clouds. The gods themselves speak through the emissaries. "Strike him down." One bellows. "Do not let him rise." Another cries. A deeper, colder voice rumbles across the horizon. "Test him. Let him burn. Let him see the power he cannot yet overcome. The buried one must learn." Kale hears it, senses it. His grin widens. "Oh, I will learn. But first, I'll make them bleed." He launches himself into the next wave of attackers. The streets shake with every strike. Sparks fly, stones fracture, divine energy explodes. The battlefield becomes a storm of chaos and fury, the night alive with screams, light, and smoke. The chapter ends with Kale standing atop a crumbling tower, aura blazing like a living sun. The remaining emissaries hesitate, wings spread, unsure if they face a man or a force of nature. Celine catches up, sword in hand, breathing heavy. "They're retreating?" Kale's amber eyes glint with lethal amusement. "No, they're regrouping. The gods always do. But they'll learn soon enough. Weakness dies before me." Above, thunder roars. Lightning splits the sky. The gods prepare their next move, and Kale smiles. "Let them come. Let the true game begin." The wind carries whispers of divine wrath across the ruined city, promising fire, blood, and the rise of a force no god has seen in 100 years. The fallen generals return. The horizon burns with crimson light as dawn bleeds over the capital's ruined skyline. Kale stands atop a jagged tower, surveying the destruction he wrought the night before. His fists drip with residual energy, his aura still blazing like wildfire. Selene moves beside him, eyes sharp. They're regrouping. And not just the emissaries. Someone else has come. Kale tilts his head, smirk curling. Another dog sent by gods to die. Let's see who dares step forward. The air shifts. A chill winds through the streets, carrying the scent of ozone and metal. Shadows detach themselves from the smoke and rubble. One figure walks with the confidence of a storm, armor blackened, divine sigils flickering across its surface, a sword in one hand and a corrupted spear in the other. Kale's amber eyes widen ever so slightly. His smirk turns sharper, teeth glinting. "Darian," Selene stiffens. He's fully empowered now. The gods. They've made him more than mortal." Darian stops a few meters away, stance precise, aura blazing. "Buried one, I told you. I would face you again. You thought I was weak. You thought a single encounter could measure me. I am beyond that now. I am the god's will, sharpened into flesh." Kale steps forward slowly, every footfall echoing like a death knell. "Once you were my brother. Once we bled for the same cause. Now, you are nothing but their tool. A toy for weak gods." Darian's eyes flare. "And yet they gave me strength. A chance to surpass you. This ends today, one way or another." The clash begins without warning. Darian lunges, spear swinging with divine precision, energy slicing the air like thunder. Kale moves, fists blurring faster than sight, catching the spear midair and twisting it into molten shards. Sparks fly, stone splinters, and the ground beneath them cracks violently. "You've changed," Kale mutters, voice low, eyes scanning every movement. "Stronger, faster, but still nothing more than a slave," Darian snarls. "A slave? I serve the gods."
You will kneel.
Kale laughs, a low feral sound that echoes through the ruined streets. "I kneel to no one, least of all gods who fear me." The fight escalates into a storm of destruction. Every strike shakes buildings. Every collision of weapons sends shockwaves tearing through the streets. Kale moves like a whirlwind, fists striking, bones breaking, chains of divine energy snapping under the sheer force of his blows. Darian counters with brutal precision, spear and sword whirling in deadly arcs. He lands a strike across Kale's shoulder, sending him skidding through rubble. But Kale's laughter does not falter. "You still fight like my brother, too proud to die." Kale mutters, wiping blood from his mouth. Then his aura flares violently. But pride dies here. He charges, fists glowing with molten light smashing through Darian's defenses. Each blow cracks stone, fractures armor, and pushes Darian back, step by step. Selene watches, breathless, as the two titans clash. If he falters, the gods will flood the city. They'll send everything. Kale's amber eyes flick to her, smirk sharp. Then let them try. I've been buried, forgotten, chained, and I am still here. Let them come! Darian roars, summoning divine fire to his blade. I will not fall again. I will finish what the gods started. Kale meets him head-on, fists and weapon colliding with the force of collapsing mountains. Sparks, debris, and energy fill the streets, citizens fleeing in terror and awe. A single crushing blow sends Darian into the air, tumbling across the shattered city square. He lands heavily but rolls, aura flaring to heal broken bones and mend armor mid-fight. The god's blessing sustains him, but Kale's relentless power is unmatched. Kale's voice cuts like lightning. You were always a puppet, a chain disguised as flesh. Today, I break that chain. He strikes again, fists colliding with Darian's body in a flurry so fast the air itself screams. The ground fractures beneath them. Divine energy explodes outward, obliterating walls and fountains alike. Darian glares, chest heaving, divine fire crackling across his armor.
I will
Not yield. Kale leans close, voice low and dangerous.
You already have.
You just don't know it yet. The clash pauses for a heartbeat. Both warriors stand amidst ruined buildings, smoke and sparks rising. Darian glares, aura flickering, breathing ragged but steady. Kale grins, blood and dust streaking his face. Selene whispers, He's holding on. The god's blessing is keeping him alive. Kale's eyes gleam with feral satisfaction. Then I'll break it, not with force, but with truth. You are nothing, not gods. Not mortals, not me. Just another weak link in a world that forgot how to fight. Darian snarls, roaring, launching himself at Kale again. The streets shake, the sky darkens, and the battle escalates toward an unseen climax. The chapter ends with Kale and Darian locked mid-strike, city ruins crumbling around them. Lightning illuminates Kale's amber eyes and Darian's divine glow. The gods watch from above, rage and anticipation mixing in the stormlit sky. Kale's voice cuts the chaos like steel. Fight, struggle, break, and when you fall, the world will see the truth of weakness. Darian's roar matches his, echoing through the broken capital. You will not win. Not yet. The storm rages, signaling the world that the true war between the buried one and the gods' champions has begun. Siege of the Divine Vanguard. The capital lies in smoldering ruins, smoke curling into a sky torn with storm clouds. Kale stands atop a shattered tower, aura flaring, fists dripping residual energy. The ground trembles beneath the city, echoing the distant rumble of divine power approaching. Selene grips her sword, scanning the horizon. They're coming, more than before. This isn't a single emissary. They're sending their vanguard. Kyle's amber eyes narrow, a cruel smile spreading across his face. Good. I've been waiting a century for them to show me what they've got. Let the gods taste their own arrogance. From the clouds, multiple figures descend like meteors, landing in the shattered streets with earth-shaking force. Each is a champion of the gods, armored in radiant steel, weapons crackling with divine energy, eyes glowing like molten stars. Their descent ignites fire across the square, melting stone and shattering buildings. The buried one bellows, voice booming with authority. Surrender or be erased. Kale laughs, a dark resonant sound that cuts through thunder. Erased? I've walked through death, betrayal, and chains meant to last centuries. Try me. Selene tightens her grip on her blade. Kyle, there are too many. Even you. Kale interrupts, voice low and deadly. Weakness dies first. Strength survives. And I am still here. The vanguard attacks in unison. Divine spears slash through the air. Hammers of light strike the ground and energy whips lash like serpents. Soldiers flee in panic. The few who remain are flattened by the sheer force of the onslaught. Kale moves like a living storm, fists blazing. He intercepts a spear midair, crushing it into molten slag. Another champion swings a massive hammer. Kale dodges, leaving a trail of scorched stone. Selene fights at his side, cutting through lesser champions with precise strikes, but the numbers are overwhelming. Divine fire dances across every surface, threatening to consume them both. One champion steps forward, a towering figure with wings of light and a sword that hums with celestial energy.
Your defiance ends here, Buried One, it booms.
Kneel, or the gods will erase all you hold dear. Kale tilts his head, amber eyes gleaming. Kneel? I kneel to no one, least of all. Gods who fear me. The clash begins in earnest. Kale strikes with fists that crack stone, sending shockwaves through the street. The champion swings, sending arcs of divine energy that shatter buildings and fling debris like missiles. Sparks, smoke, and dust fill the air as the titans collide. Kale catches the sword bare-handed mid-strike, aura flaring like wildfire. "This is all you've got?" he growls, twisting the weapon into molten slag. The champion reels, wings flickering, divine energy sputtering. Celine calls out, voice strained. "Kale, there are more." "Don't let them surround you." Kale smirks, eyes scanning the battlefield. "Let them come. One by one, I'll break them all." The remaining champions converge, lances and swords clashing against Kale. Each strike creates earthquakes, cracks stone, and sends debris raining down. But Kale's aura pulses, deflecting blows and shattering weapons with brutal precision. The battle escalates further. Kale moves like a whirlwind, every fist striking with mountain-crushing force. The vanguard fights with divine coordination, but Kale adapts instantly, dodging, countering, and striking with preternatural speed. Smoke, fire, and shattered stone swirl in a chaotic storm around him. A champion lands a blow across Kale's chest. He stumbles slightly, blood dripping, but his grin is feral. "Pathetic," he mutters. "This is supposed to be your best? I've fought monsters that could swallow your gods whole and still laughed." He charges, fists igniting with molten light, and smashes through two champions simultaneously. Stone crumbles, divine energy explodes outward, and shockwaves flatten nearby ruins. Celine watches, awe and terror mixing in her eyes. He's unstoppable. But even he has limits. Kale's amber gaze sweeps the battlefield, smirk sharp. "Limits? I've broken gods before you were even born. Let them try." Lightning splits the sky, illuminating the chaos. The champions rally, wings flaring, weapons igniting with divine energy. The gods themselves whisper through their emissaries, commanding, guiding, watching for an opening. Kale grins, fists flaring brighter. "I've waited 100 years for this. Let them come." Every strike, every scream, every death will remind them why they feared me before. The chapter ends with Kale standing amidst the shattered battlefield, aura blazing like a living sun. The vanguard hesitates, battered but not defeated, eyes burning with divine rage. Selena kneels beside him, exhausted but resolute. Kyle tilts his head to the stormy sky, voice carrying like rolling thunder. "Send your next wave. I've only just begun." Above, divine eyes burn with fury and calculation. The gods are preparing their ultimate counter, and the world braces for a storm that may consume all. Rise of the Buried One. The storm above the capital rages, lightning splitting the sky like divine claws tearing through night. Kale stands atop the shattered throne of the city, aura flaring like a living sun. The ruins around him groan under the weight of destruction, smoke and ash swirling through the air. Selene stands at his side, blade raised, eyes scanning the horizon.
This is it, Kale. They're sending their ultimate champion.
"The one the gods reserved for you." Kale tilts his head, amber eyes glinting with predatory light. "Finally, I've waited 100 years for this. Let them come. I've broken gods, chains, and empires alike. Let's see if this toy is worth my time." From the heavens, a colossal figure descends. Wings of pure light stretch wide, each feather sharp as blades. Armor blazes like molten gold, a spear taller than a man crackling with divine fire in one hand and a sword of light in the other. Every movement bends the air. Every heartbeat shakes the earth. The champion lands with a thunderous impact, sending shockwaves that shatter streets and topple towers. Its voice rolls like thunder. "Buried One, your time is over. Kneel or be erased from existence." Kale smirks, fists glowing. "Erased? I've lived a century in chains the gods thought unbreakable. I do not kneel." "I break," Selena whispers, voice tight. "This isn't just an emissary." "It's a god's avatar. One-on-one, even you." Kale interrupts, voice cold, feral. "I've never fought fair. And I don't start now." The clash begins like a cataclysm. Kyle launches forward, fists blazing, striking with force that cracks stone and sends shockwaves through the city. The champion counters with divine speed, spear and sword slicing the air, each swing leveling buildings and shattering streets. Sparks, light, and debris fill the battlefield, a maelstrom of destruction. Kale meets the strikes head-on, aura exploding outward, fists colliding with divine weapons. Energy erupts like molten stars, tearing chunks of stone from the ruins. Each blow is deafening, each movement blinding. The champion swings its sword, arcs of divine fire slicing through the streets. Kale catches the strike with a single hand, crushing the blade into molten shards. You call this strength? Kale snarls. I've crushed mountains stronger than you. Selene moves desperately, cutting through lesser divine champions summoned to aid the ultimate figure. She yells, "Kill!" They'll overwhelm you if you're not careful. Kale's amber eyes flick to her, feral grin spreading. Careful? I've been careful for 100 years. Careful buried me alive. Now, I am free. He launches himself at the god avatar, fists blurring faster than sight, smashing through divine defenses, each punch shattering weapon and armor alike. The city trembles under the fury of their clash. The champion roars, energy flaring, hurling Kale across the ruins. He lands, chest heaving, aura flaring brighter than ever. Blood streaks his face, but his eyes burn with relentless fire. You think you can break me? The avatar hisses, voice shaking the skies. Kyle laughs, low and terrifying. No, I don't break you. I crush you. Weakness dies first. Strength survives. And I am eternal. The battle escalates further, transcending mortal and divine boundaries. Shockwaves ripple across the land. Winds howl like the cries of fallen gods. Lightning ignites rivers, and the earth itself trembles. Every strike from Kale sends the avatar staggering, divine fire sputtering in chaotic bursts. Every counter from the avatar strikes like a meteor. Yet Kale adapts instantly, dodging, countering, and striking with preternatural speed. Selene watches, awe and terror mixing in her gaze. No mortal could withstand this. Kale tilts his head, voice sharp. I am no mortal. I am the buried one. I was forged to kill gods, and now I rise. A final, earth-shattering clash begins. Kale and the god avatar collide, fists and divine weapons smashing into each other. The force explodes outward in a storm of molten light, fire, and shattered stone. The shockwave flattens entire blocks, topples towers, and sends the remaining divine vanguard fleeing. Kale roars, aura blazing brighter than the sun, fists glowing with molten fury. He strikes again and again, each punch shattering divine armor, cracking weapons, and sending the avatar staggering. You cannot contain me, Kale bellows. I've been buried, chained, betrayed, and I am still here. Stronger than gods, stronger than men, stronger than fear itself. The avatar falters, wings flickering, divine energy sputtering. Kale steps forward, fists blazing. You will fall, and the world will remember why the buried one walks free. With a final thunderous punch, Kale strikes the god avatar squarely in the chest. The explosion of energy shakes the land, blinding light consuming the battlefield. When the dust settles, the avatar lies broken, divine energy scattered and sputtering. The skies clear, storm clouds parting to reveal dawn. The capital is in ruins, yet Kale stands atop the rubble, aura flaring like a living sun, victorious. Selene moves to his side, breathless. It's over. You did it. Kale tilts his head, amber eyes scanning the horizon. Over? No, this is only the beginning. Weak kings, corrupt gods, foolish mortals, all will learn the truth. Weakness dies first, strength survives. And I, them eternal, above the clouds the gods seethe, powerless to intervene further. One voice rumbles, low and dangerous. He rises. The century-buried sinner walks free. Let the world tremble. Let the storm come. The buried one has awakened. The chapter closes on Kale standing atop the ruined capital, fist raised to the heavens, amber eyes blazing. Behind him, Selene kneels, city ruins sprawling endlessly. Whispers rise from survivors below, calling his name, Buried One. Buried One? The era of weak mortals is over. A new age dawns, and Kale, the buried one, walks as its unchallenged storm.